Hey, rolling out. This is your girl, Christal Jordan, and today's cover conversation titles on love and relationships. We are talking to Dr. Stacii Jae Johnson about her new role as the dating coach on Put a Ring on It. If you guys remember, Put a Ring on It has been around for several seasons on OWN. Well, the show is back and it has fresh new blood in it. We have Dr. Stacii Jae Johnson counseling these couples, letting them know if she thinks they need to head down the aisle or if there's some issues going on. So I want to bring in Dr. Stacii Jae, and we're going to talk a little bit about this season and what she feels couples need to be thinking about when they're watching Put a Ring on It. Please help me welcome Dr. Stacii Jae.
Hello, Christal. Hi, honey.
Hey, how are you?
Oh my gosh. It's all so surreal. It's all so surreal. Being able to really, I think about what Angela Bassett said in an interview, and she said, just waking up and being able to do what God has placed her on this planet to do. It's truly a blessing and an honor. And I feel the same way. I posted something that today it said, it was all a dream in my Biggie voice, because it was. And, when I'm a God girl, so when God says, yes, yes to something that you have been working and praying for. And I just can't explain this moment. I just said, if it's not real, don't pinch me because I want to stay right here.
Well, we are so excited for you. You have been giving relationship advice. You've actually come to the office and shared relationship advice on Reality Check. We've seen you on social media, on your own platform, giving advice out to the ladies for years. And so it is a dream of ours to see you on this platform, being able to really share that with the entire OWN audience, of which we know a lot about. Our audience loves the shows from Put a Ring on It to, Ready to Love. We're all huge OWN fans. So what a great platform to bring Dr. Stacii Jae to. And with Will Packer, no less.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Will Packer is, what I always say about Will? First of all, he's a good human being. That first and foremost. But his business acumen, I really believe, I don't know this for a fact, but I really believe Will consults his soul before he does something. Like, I really believe that his stuff is not just about business. He really consults his soul space, his human place, and he makes sure that the things that he does is in alignment with who he is as an individual, as a human. And I really believe that's his sweet spot. Now, I know that for a fact, but I don't have a clue. But that's what I think. He's a genius, but his genius is filled with a lot of passion and, heart for Black love.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And I think, like I said, the OWN audience has responded. I think people really watch these shows, especially Put a Ring on It. They see themselves in the couples. They see issues that they've dealt with. And so I want to ask you before we get into this season, because like I said, you are definitely bringing new life. I know you personally. We know what you bring. So I already know this season is going to be off the chain. But I want to ask you, had you watched the show before? And what did you get out of the concept of couples actually coming for counseling to kind of make that decision on that fork in the road? Do we move forward towards marriage, or should we perhaps, go our separate ways? And if there's something else out there for each of us?
Yeah, well, I watched the last season, and I can tell you that it's a great show. Like, I was into it, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, really into it. And I can say that this season, of course, you know me, I am the person who is there's not going to be a lot that gets past me.
No. I know. I say, you know what? Because I'm just going to be honest with you, Dr. Stacii Jae. There were, we review the show, right? And so a lot of viewers often felt like there may be one person out of each couple that might have been able to get away with certain things. Maybe they didn't get called on it. And some of that can be editing. But I was thinking to myself, when I saw that you were the new host, I was like, I don't know about anybody being able to get away with anything without getting called on it, because accountability really is important when you are talking about wanting a healthy relationship, right?
Absolutely. And you know me, I'm all about healthy romantic relationships. And you know, and I don't want to give too much away, but I can say the word on the street with the couples about Stacy is she's not for men or women, she's for relationship.
Yeah.
How do we cultivate, create, and keep a healthy romantic relationship? This is the third part of it. You have you, your partner, and the relationship. How do these two people come together to make something healthy here? So I'm not one, viewers will see, you know, I'm a Black woman. Been 50-some years, girl. I'm for a healthy romantic relationship. So I'm not really taking sides. And I call all spades spades. And I say that in the show.
Yeah.
Is it a spade and a spade or a club and a spade? Because they don't go together. And I get in their face just like this. I can tell you, no, seriously. Seriously, there's a piece of hair somewhere. Seriously, I get in their face. Really not confrontational at all. Yeah. But really, they see my heart. They see that I want them as individuals to be happy. Yeah. I'm not working on the relationship with this woman, or I'm not working on the relationship with this man. I'm saying, how can we create, cultivate, and keep a healthy relationship, romantic relationship, whoever it's with? Right. And having those tools for me is important. I guide them all. Yeah. You know me. I'm my mother's blood, as far as I'm concerned, is on what I do. So I take it very personal. But I have a lot of heart, but I am very stern. Yeah. Well, you're passionate about it. Let's stay right there for a second, because I know that, you know, when you are, you know, we see you on your social media platform and you are talking to women, you are, you know, we've had conversations. I know how your heart is when it comes to women and holding them accountable, you know, with love. But is it a little different? Interacting and talking to men? Does the message may be the same, but is the method different when you're counseling men than it is when you're counseling women? I can tell you, for me, Christal, first of all, these men, and I look down because I'm almost brought to tears myself. These men, these kings, kings, girl. And I say kings because they are some of the most courageous men I've seen in a long time, because first of all, they let me do my thing with them, right? They let me push them, right? Because anybody has the option to, hey, I don't want to do this. This is too much for me, right? Right. You know, right. And so much to where to see a Black man cry when he don't even want to cry. Ooh. Yeah. It does something to it even when you're watching the show, it does something, because for so long, I think in our culture, we haven't seen men feel comfortable or even have a safe space to feel those emotions. So I think we're in a much healthier space now, because men do feel, not as often as women, but they are feeling like there's more concern and care for their feelings and their emotions, especially when it comes to relationships. Yeah. But to get them to that place when a camera is rolling. To me, as someone who's been doing this for a decade now, that calls for a lot of trust in me. That calls for a lot of respect in me being connected to them to push them into the best of themselves. And that calls for me for a lot of, they know that I care. Yeah. And they know that if I push them to where that happens, I'm not going to drop them. Yeah, I'm not going to drop them, because who wants to be pushed and you turn back into this robot that is just there to do a job? Right. You know what I'm saying? And all of them know. He definitely ain't the one to do the job. I mean, literally, like, they definitely know, oh, she's just not doing the job. This woman is, you know, my mother died of cancer, they say, but my mother was going through her 5th divorce, Christal. At 56 years old. Wow, that's so young. She married my father at 21 and she died at 56. Between 21 and 56, she had 4 additional husbands. Wow. She died in my arms and told me more than anything, she wanted to show my brother and I that love can work in a healthy way. That's my why. That's why this is just not a job. That's my heart. That's my purpose. And that's why, for me, this season, if you have a host that's coming into the season with that personal agenda, my mom is my why. It's a whole nother energy. Yeah. That. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, now Stacy, you almost got me. Well, I'm trying to get through this. Yeah, that was powerful. Because I I love the fact that I get a chance to talk about relationships here on Rolling Out and women's issues, because I genuinely believe love is the most powerful thing that we have, right? I believe it with all my heart. So I'm in agreement with you 100%. And even this show, I think that it gives people hope. We were talking about, I interview people that are on a lot of different reality shows dealing with love and relationships. And sometimes you wonder, like, why do people sign up for things? Sometimes it can be embarrassing. Sometimes it can be heartbreaking. But I genuinely believe that people do it because everybody really has a basic human need to be loved, right? And everybody wants that. Now, for people that are just meeting you, like I said, we've known you for years. You've been doing this for over a decade, really, really helping people, getting in the mud with people, showing them what they're doing, trying to get them to a healthy space with themselves so that they can have a healthy relationship. Let's talk about a little bit that you've learned over this 10-year process that has prepared you for such a time as this. Like, can you share with the viewers that may not know some of your past, what you've learned and what you've been able to take from coaching women and counseling couples that has prepared you for this platform?
Gosh, Christal, now you're gonna have me crying. I'm like, oh Lord. Gosh, I've learned so much, Christal. One of the biggest things I can tell you I've learned is, as long as you point the finger out, it's never gonna get better. Pointing the finger outside of yourself. We are spirit and a body having a human experience. Say that again. Spirit in a body. This is the shell, having a human experience. And relationship, who we will love, who we will not love, has a lot to do with what? That life experience.
Right.
So if you are pointing the finger out for anything, you lose.
Yeah.
You lose because your energy is not in alignment with your spirit. Everything, everyone, every situation comes to teach you something about yourself. So that is something that I believe over the last decade that literally never goes away. The finger pointing out, it just doesn't work.
Wow. And that's interesting because, watching this show, most couples come to the program initially and everyone's finger is out, right? So it's like, well, the relationship isn't working because, hey. Yes. Yes. So what is the process from taking people from understanding that really who they are, right? And the relationship is a reflection of themselves, regardless of what's happening. What is that process like? Without giving us too much about the show, but just kind of share with us your process for taking people from, this to understanding that reflection is really, it's an authentic picture of themselves.
Absolutely. It's being the love you want to attract. We can, if someone is not caring, right? But you want someone to be caring. Are you caring to yourself? I've asked that question to a lot of my clients. It may not be with that character trait. It may be with honest. Are you honest with yourself? And most people lie to themselves daily. We start diets 3 times a week. You know what I'm saying, right? We say that we're going to do some self-care, but we never do. We let work, take over our lives. So really be the love you want to attract is, to me, the way to check yourself and know that the further you are away from what you want to attract, the more you're going to get what you don't want to attract, because you're actually a reflection of what you don't want.
Yeah.
A lot of times, I'll never forget, and I don't want to go on a narcissist thing, but a woman, well, it's my fault I attracted a narcissist. Let me say this. It is. You know why? Because I could have attracted a narcissist, but he would have fallen off like oil and water. It just wouldn't go. So there was something in that experience that you needed to learn about yourself. You see what I'm saying? To get to the next, who might be your husband.
Yeah.
You got to discover what that is about you that attracted that, so that you can get to your next, or the next after that, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Let me ask you this, because I feel like on social media, there is such a disconnect, right, between Black men and Black women specifically, right? And I love the fact that Put a Ring on It, Ready to Love, we really focus on Black love, right? Even though we're not saying it's different, it's better, but that's the love that we're talking about right now. And I feel like there's often like this narrative, right? Pitting Black women against Black men and Black men against Black women, and it goes back and forth. There are a lot of agitators on social media that like to get into those conversations, and Black women are doing this and Black men are doing that. How do we change that narrative? How do we be a part of showing that there are some amazing couples, there are some beautiful love stories, beautiful Black love stories, and there really isn't as big of a divide as social media tries to amplify. So how do we change that narrative?
Ooh, Christal, that's hard, but I would again point the finger back at myself. The work I do, the work you do, being an influence in changing the narrative, and even if it were not you or I, but having your life as a person who loves Black love, who wants love in their life, right? Whoever that person is, using your life as the example. One of the things I've always said I wanted to do, I want to influence the lives of 1 million single people, giving them the tools to attract and keep healthy romantic love. Now, will I do that in this lifetime? I don't know. But what I do know is in my coaching program and on this show, this amazing show with these the most courageous couples I've ever seen in my life, tell me to do what I did to them. I'm just saying, girl, they are courage driven. I'm telling you. Okay, let me just keep it there. But what I would like to say is, at the end of the day, who are you? Who are you?
Yeah.
Don't point the finger out, because the change that you can be in your life, the way I'm going to touch 1 million is that little girls are going to be different. Yeah. Little boys are going to grow up different because their mothers, their parents are then becoming the best of them, getting the tools to attract, keep, and cultivate healthy romantic love. So that's how I'm going to get to my 1 million. I mean, let's say I might get to the 1 million.
The audience for Put a Ring on It is pretty broad. So
I might get to my 1 million. Let's just say I am with this audience.
Yeah.
So with that, just imagine if I can influence mom to look at this show and point the finger back at herself, and dad to point the finger back at himself and say, okay, instead of he did that to me, she did that to me, what did I get from that? What did I learn about myself?
Yeah.
How did that come into my life and I even allow it in? What do I want to change about myself? Because then what will happen is mom will make different decisions that will then influence the girl.
Absolutely.
The boy will be, and then guess what? The children will grow up different, because then they will really have, outside of just grow up and get married, go to college, get married and find you somebody. And then, y'all have some kids. There'll be much more detail. How do I really, okay, I got the kid, mom, but how do I really have a happy relationship? There will be some examples out there. So.
No, I love that. And I don't even think we hear that. I think we hear so much of, get your education, get you a good, make money so that you don't have to depend on a man, because you never know if you'll have a man or not. Like that's what I was taught. And unfortunately for a while, that's what I was teaching my daughter, and I got married about 1.5 years ago, and
congratulations. I saw that. I know you like, why did she write me this long dissertation?
No, because I know you. So I knew. I was like, thank you so much. I knew exactly. I get it. Like like I said, we're totally aligned. But on what you said, my daughter, who is, in her late 20s, said to me, Mom, I love the fact that I see, your Adrian loves you so much, because maybe there are good guys out there. She sees that. So it's like, it's really the biggest thing we can do is change what our children see, and our, what we see, the examples we see becomes representation that we think that we can become. So what you're saying is 100% right. I didn't even say anything to her, just watching that. She's like, Mom, it changed her belief in what she could have in her life, right? Just by seeing me take a chance. So I believe that everything that you're saying is 100% on point. I want to ask you this, because these couples we see them at the crossroads, right? And most of them love each other. I'm assuming if you get to this point, you come on the show, you're willing to invest this time, you love each other. What is your opinion on when if a couple is truly ready to jump that broom, or if they need to at least wait a little bit? Because marriage is very different commitment, very different covenant, very different dynamic than dating. So what would you say? And I know that's hard to sum up quickly, but I'm just wondering, like, what could you share with the viewers when you know they're actually ready to put the work in and make that commitment to marriage, or they may need to bake this a little longer before they take, and before they get ready to come back and put the ring on it?
Yeah, I would say honestly, it's not supposed to be hard.
No, say that.
If I got to do that, I know, but it's not supposed to be just
struggle, love. No struggle. No struggle.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's not just supposed to be just, I'm sorry. I know viewers going to be like, what in the world? But I had to get dramatic like that because sometimes, because we've seen it be so hard that it's just got to be hard. And that's what I want. That is funny. I know the people at home, if they see this, they're going to be like, did she really do hard? That would be, but I mean it. Like, it's just not supposed to be that. And for some reason in our community, we feel like that's the best love.
You better say that. Yeah.
And, and that's just not it. That is unhealthy.
Absolutely.
Romantic love. So I would say that it just does not supposed to be like, you know how when you go to the dentist and you get a tooth pulled? Because it ain't supposed to be that. It's not supposed to feel like a tooth being constantly pulled out your mouth every time you wake up and you open your mouth to this person. It is literally you pulling out every time the conflict is hard. Conflict is hard, but how you deal with it together, you can never see eye to eye with this person. That's not love. That's not healthy romantic love. That is trauma. That is unresolved issues that you have with yourself. Not saying that issues can't be fixed, but this still after that might not be your person.
Right. Absolutely. I love that. That's just real. That toxicity. Sometimes people get addicted to that. Back and forth. And it's like, this is too much. This should not be that way. Dr. Stacy.
I got to say this too, Christal. Look, breath is too precious.
Amen. No, absolutely.
Going to bed and not waking up, honey.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Choose wisely who you are going to give your spirit and your energy to.
Absolutely. So I'm going to ask you, I'm going to put you on the spot, Dr. Stacii Jae. What did you learn? I know this experience has had to be different just because of having cameras around, because of having couples that are willing to trust you on a total different way, than just counseling people that come to your personal coaching. So what did you learn about, just this process, and even about yourself, during this process with Put a Ring on It?
Oh gosh, what did I learn? Girl, you have good questions. I've been doing this all day, and because I'm in DC doing press. What did I learn? I can tell you the men blew me away. The men blew me away because they got it. They stopped trying to make a relationship work, but trying to make them work.
I love
it. The women did the work too, absolutely. But because we don't see men take this process so seriously in real life, we don't get to be in the room to hear men go to heart with themselves.
Yeah.
Not even just talking to them. I'm talking about these men blew me away. They blew me away. So for me, it helps me coach the women in my organization, aside from the show, the women that I coach and help. It helps me breathe more air into them because I've seen this.
Yeah.
I've seen Black men in the trenches and literally, I'm not going to cry. You are not going to make me. You are just not. Literally. And they cannot help it because the heart is into it and it's so committed. Again, I have to say, I'm not preparing any of these couples for each other per se. I'm preparing the individuals to see that this can work. That's a lot different.
It is.
You need to do this to make her happy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's who I am.
Yeah.
I'm You have a choice. This is what makes her happy.
Mm-hmm.
And ask yourself, is from your spirit and a body having a human experience, is that really who you are to be able to provide that?
Ooh, and that's a serious question. That's a serious question because
I said they were the most courageous people I've ever seen in my life. Allow me to push them to ask the questions that we ask on the show.
Yeah.
On it this season, y'all, it is. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people been commenting because on the preview, they showed me getting up out the chair. And you know, that's me.
Yeah.
For real. We do a lot of that.
Okay. Well, we are excited. We can't wait to see next week's premiere. Please let people know where they can tune in. We definitely will have to have you come back later in the season. But we're so excited to be able to celebrate this new step for you. We have a beautiful digital cover that's going to go live on Tuesday that I can't wait to share. And, you know, some more surprises later on to help support and celebrate because, you know, we know that you're not necessarily from Atlanta, but we claim you. Atlanta claims Dr.
I claim y'all too. Spelman graduate, you know, I definitely claim you. Christal, you're coming to my screening, right?
I'm coming to the screening next week. Yes, I am coming to the screening. Absolutely.
I was about to say we could possibly give something away to your view. I don't know the business behind that as far as when the digital cover comes out, but if it comes out Tuesday, I don't know.
You know what we'll do is I'll get with you offline and we will do we'll do something to celebrate that we can announce on Tuesday to make sure that people tune in, making sure that they tune in on Thursday, because like I said, we want to be able to celebrate and support you this entire season, because this is a win for us, just like it's a win for you seeing one of ours you know, on a platform that is so deserving. We're so excited for you. Let people know when they can tune in to the all new season of Put a Ring on It.
Yes, Put a Ring on It airs Friday, March 17th after Ready to Love on Oprah Winfrey's network. Y'all, she my boss at 9 o'clock. Can you believe it? Oprah Winfrey is my boss. I ain't like having a boss, but I like having a boss named Oprah.
We're not going to pinch Dr. Stacii Jae because we don't want her to wake up, but you all tune in right after Ready to Love. I don't know what's happening on Ready to Love. We are totally confused, but what we do know is at the conclusion of next week's episode, we will be able to tune in for the premiere of the all new season of Put a Ring on It, featuring our beloved Dr. Stacii Jae. Thank you so much for hanging out with us, Stacy. We'll definitely be tuned in next Friday.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right. Thank you all for hanging out. Make sure that you're tuned in to rollingout.com. Like I said, we have a great digital cover that's going to be released to celebrate Stacy joining Put a Ring on It. And there's so much more coming, more about Put a Ring on It, all right here on rollingout.com. Stay tuned.